with the fact that any deficiency in that buffer that we just mentioned would be a violation of the town code, enforcement by our enforcement officer?
I don't know if it would be town code, it would be
a violation of
A
the
special use permit, yes, thank you.
And I mean, it's because it's a condition, so if they violate it, I mean, it is a violation of the special use.
I know it goes without saying, I just.
You want to add it, just so it's clear?
I do.
Okay, so, buffering consistent with the landscape plan submitted.
I mean, it's clear to us, but I mean, I think future boards and whatever, I want to make sure that if anybody reads it, they know what we have contemplated.
I'm just worried if you add it to that condition, why didn't you add it to the other conditions? And are you affecting the way it gets interpreted? As an attorney, I know you can appreciate that.
Yeah, I do.
Are you affecting the way it gets interpreted later on because you added it to clause
Move on
2?
to Mr. Land.
But was it in, yeah.
I do.
It's on to you. I mean, it's obvious that if they don't meet the conditions, they're going to get brought in.
Gotcha. I agree.
For revocation of that special use.
I'm just struggling with it myself, I get it.
Yeah. Overthinking it a little bit. Yeah.
That the solar farm be constructed and operated in accordance with the guidelines for agricultural mitigation.
I wish I could write this. Guidelines for agricultural mitigation.
Yes. For solar energy projects. Revision dated April 19th, 2018.
Were there any other conditions?
Satisfying? As far as the condition?
All right.
Sorry, Mr. Can I say just one thing to acquire the density that you're talking about? If you, I mean, I could work with them to determine it, but anything that you stagger your coniferous trees?
They did. There's, in the landscape plan, it shows that.
Yeah, 10-foot centers staggered, 2 rows.
I think they were 12-foot centers because of the size of the tree.
10 to 12 feet, I mean,
Yeah.
you're not going to see through that in 5 years.
Okay.
If the board is amenable, I could read a motion for approval for the board's consideration. Town of Lewiston, resolution regarding an application by Borrega Solar Systems, Inc. for site plan review and special use permit for a proposed utility scale solar energy system located at 1897 Swan Road. Whereas the town of Lewiston received an application from Borrega Solar Systems Incorporated for a special use permit and site plan review for a utility scale solar energy system to be located at 1897 Swan Road, Lewiston, New York. And whereas the town of Lewiston Environmental Commission reviewed the proposed project and recommended approval with conditions to the town of Lewiston Town Board by letter dated July 9, 2018. And whereas the town of Lewiston Planning Board reviewed the proposed project and recommended approval to the town board of the town of Lewiston. And whereas the town of Lewiston Town Board on August 27, 2018 and September 10, 2018 did hold a duly advertised public hearing at Lewiston Town Hall, 1375 Bridge Road, Lewiston, New York, regarding the application for a special use permit and site plan review of a proposed utility scale solar energy system. And at such public hearing, every party wishing to be heard was heard. And whereas the town board has considered all relevant testimony, documents, and all other information presented and placed before it, now therefore be it resolved that based on the testimony, documents, and other information presented, the town board makes the following findings. That the use, a utility scale solar energy system, is designed, located, and proposed to be operated so the public health, safety, welfare, and convenience will be protected. To wit, the project has been designed and located such that the solar panels will be behind structures and vegetation, substantially reducing its visibility and impacts to neighboring properties and public highways. The project is also located in a sparsely populated area of the town, and a glare study submitted by the applicant shows very minimal and rare impact from glint, but no glare from these solar panels, and that the use of a utility scale solar energy system will not cause substantial injury to the value of other property in the neighborhood where it is located. To it, the project has been designed and located such that the solar panels will be behind structures and vegetation, thus substantially reducing its visibility and impact to the neighboring properties. Landscaping has also been made part of the project to reduce visibility to neighbors, and the applicant has exceeded the setbacks, required under the town code for distances from neighboring properties, structures, and lot lines. And that the use of utility scale solar energy system will be compatible with adjoining development and the character of the neighborhood where it is located. To it, the neighborhood the project is located in is zoned rural residential. It generally consists of large lots with single-family homes and/or large farming operations or woods. The character of the neighborhood where the project is located will not be affected, since the project has been designed to substantially minimize and obscure the solar panel's view from neighboring properties and public highways. And that the use of a utility scale solar energy system provides adequate screening to preserve the character of the neighborhood. To it, the project does require additional landscaping and plantings. And finally, that the use of a utility scale solar energy system provides adequate off-street and loading, and the special use will not substantially interfere with traffic on abutting streets. To wit, while the project will cause an increase in traffic on Swan Road during construction, that impact is not expected to be substantial and be limited in time to only the period of construction. The nature of the project does not require the presence of employees or other staff beyond periods of maintenance. And be it further resolved that the special use permit for operation of a utility scale solar energy system at 1897 Swan Road is approved with the following conditions. Upon change of ownership of the company or the property owner, a review of the project by the Town of Lewiston Planning Board and the Town of Lewiston Town Board for continued compliance with the town code and these conditions of approval. 2, buffering of the fence and the solar panels consistent with the landscape plan submitted with continuous live vegetation, forever green, dense, and sufficiently high to block the view of the fence and the solar array from ground level. And 3, the solar farm be constructed and operated in accordance with the guidelines for agricultural mitigation for solar energy projects. That is revision dated April 19th, 2018. And be it further resolved that the site plan for the utility scale solar energy system at 1897 Swan Road is approved with the following conditions, those conditions being the same ones that were previously read, that upon change of ownership of the company or the property owner, review of the project by the Town Planning Board and the Town of Lewiston Town Board for continued compliance with the town code and conditions of approval, buffering consistent with landscape plan submitted, continuous live vegetation, forever green, dense, and sufficiently high to block the view of the fence and solar array from ground level, and the solar farm be constructed and operated in accordance with the guidelines for agricultural mitigation for solar energy projects.
Mr. Supervisor,
Can I get a motion for approval?
question
No,
on this
no,
unpublished
no,
resolution?
no.
You've allowed it in the
No.
past for other residents, Mr. Supervisor.
No.
This
We've
resolution was
been
not
through this. We've
published.
been through this.
It's just a
all
question. I've made no
Right.
comment on this project whatsoever. I'd just like just one
No.
question.
Supervisor?
No.
All right, I would like to make one little statement beforehand. If I make a motion for approval as written and it is seconded, I cannot table it. So just making sure that
Okay.
people know. All right, to move this along again, I move for approval as eloquently read by Ryan Parisi and the document in hand.
We have a motion, do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any more questions? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? So moved.
We're taking a 5-minute break.
Sure. We're going to take a 5-minute break. Grossi, I am requesting approval to place the unpaid water and sewer accounts for the town of Lewiston on the 2019 town and county taxes The breakdown of water and sewer is as follows. Water, $71,615.05. Sewer master, $41,724.86. Sewer south, $15,736.80. Town charge, $43,600, for a total of $172,676.71. A complete listing of those who are unpaid is on file in Tamara's office. If you have any questions, please contact her.
Second. So it's been seconded?
No, okay, so I'll make the motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Questions?
So we get our money from the county, and then it goes out of the taxpayers' property?
No. We submit it
County.
to the county and they pay based on the taxes.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
That we get our money.
Yes. Mhm. So,
Our money.
so we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Upper Mountain Fire request open house sign exemption. Dear Donna Garfinkel, on October 13th, 2018, Upper Mountain Fire Company will be holding our annual open house during National Fire Prevention Week. As in the past, we are requesting that the Town of Lewiston Board give Upper Mountain Fire Company exemption from the Town Code, Chapter 30, Article XXV 25, regarding temporary promotional signs so that we can advertise this event to the public. We would like to place a temporary sign measuring 8 feet by 6 feet at the corner of Moyer and Upper Mountain Road to advertise an open house. It will not be in place more than 2 weeks prior to the event, and it shall be removed by Monday, 10/15/18 following the event, if not sooner. We would also appreciate it if you would announce this open house to the public at your next board meeting. Rain or shine, will be there. Please feel free to reach out to me with any questions, comments, or concerns. Thank you for your help. Greg Sytek. So I ask for a motion.
So move.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. And in addition to the Upper Mountain Volunteer Fire Company, here it is. Okay. The following person is no longer a member of the Upper Mountain Volunteer Fire Company. We request that the town remove their name from the Upper Mountain Volunteer Fire Company town roster. Chris Copeland.
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And sewer refund. And that would be this bill. That would be to 995 Hewitt Drive, A.J. Nanua. Is anybody here to speak in regards to the sewer exemption? I thought somebody was going to come. So basically, they have a water-based sump pump, correct? And back earlier this year, it got stuck on, and they asked for a sewer relief, which we are, correct, Jeff, not required to do at all, but we gave them a one-time relief of $256.50 based on their, and we reduced it down based on their average sewer usage. We advised them that it was a one-time forgiveness, that it wouldn't be forgiven again, and it happened again. So what they are asking for is a reduction of the $374.29 down to their average use. And Jeff, you say that this is not consistent with our policy.
Definitely not.
Okay.
I think I'll reach out to the homeowners and tell them that they should talk to a plumber.
Well, I think they were going to disconnect it.
Makes sense.
Yeah, so
I'd say we take no action.
we take no action. Okay. Legal. Nothing. Engineering. Good. Finance, budget adjustments.
I have 4 budget adjustments, revisions to request from the board tonight. The first one is in the building department. For the amount of $250, and it's to cover the cost of gasoline. They are using funding from their dog control gasoline budget to cover the expenses. These 2 departments actually split the gasoline for the van 50-50, so the budget wasn't split 50-50 in 2018. This would split the budget 50-50, and the budget for 2019 has already been considered to be split for 50
Okay.
and 50%.
Need a motion as
Move for
written.
approval as presented.
Second.
We have a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
So moved.
The second request is in the Parks Department. This revision is requested to cover the cost of other personnel assisting in the Parks Department. So out-of-department personnel. They're using funding from their general Parks Department personnel budget to cover these out-of-department personnel expenses. The amount of $990.
Make a motion to approve as presented.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved.
The third revision requested is in the Parks Department within the ice rink. This revision is requested to cover the cost of other personnel assisting in the Parks Department out-of-department ice rink area. They are using funding from their general Parks Department ice rink area personnel budget to cover these expenses in the amount of $63.
Move for approval as presented.
Second.
We have a motion and a second, all in favor? Aye. So moved.
The fourth and last budget revision is in the recreational seasonal department. Again, this revision is requested to cover the cost of personnel assisting in the recreation seasonal department, out-of-department special events area. They are using funding from their recreation special events contractual budget to cover these expenses in the amount of $2,765.
So moved as presented.
Second.
We have a motion and a second, all in favor? Aye. So moved.
Thank you.
Then you have one more, right?
I do. The Healthcare Consortium. On August 22nd, 2016, the board approved total payment of $737 to the town of Somerset over a 2-year period for the purpose of investigating the program of a healthcare consortium. To date, we have dispersed a total of $849.63. The board approved an overpayment of $112.63 on February 12th of 2018. We have now received an additional invoice in the amount of $552.35. If paid, this would bring our total expenditure to $1,401.98. This additional payment for $552.35 must be approved by the board for payment over the amount approved by the board. This expenditure has come from the supervisor's contractual budget in the past, and there is enough funding in the budget to cover this additional expense. I ask for the board to approve and authorize this additional expenditure.
Move for approval as presented.
I have a question.
Well, hold on, we need a second.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Questions?
Ultimately, this will save the town a lot of money, right? If it
Well,
goes through.
That's what they're looking at, and that's what we need to find out. The biggest thing is if the union's gonna go along with it. If the union doesn't go along with it, it doesn't mean anything. So we're at the point now where a decision's gonna be made, and we'll have to make a decision if we wanna stay with the consortium or move forward. So they are gonna provide us with some answers, and we're gonna ultimately either have to make a decision to stay with it or drop out of it. And some other municipalities have dropped out. I believe there were 26 to start, and it's down to 20.
That's correct.
So it's kind of at that decision time. My recommendation, since we have it in the supervisor's contractual, is to approve this, and we're close. But it could ultimately save a lot of money, or it could not.
It's going to be a document that you're going to want to read carefully
Yeah.
to make sure that we are protected against extraordinary charges from others.
And this started with Supervisor Brochet, and I picked it up midstream, so I've been to several meetings, and hopefully we'll get an answer soon. Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Any more questions? All in favor?
Aye.
So moved.
Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Bax.
We're gonna make a motion to add the total of $9,673.75 to 33 parcels, which the town has mowed and cared for the yards. That is broken down into lawn mowing in the amount of $6,373.75, plus a $100 administrative fee per parcel, totaling $3,300.
Motion, do we have a second?
Second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
So moved.
And then secondly, I have the resignation of Ms. Muzzy, who was, oh, she's here, still great, I'm glad. I think that this deserves a little bit more than a motion. I mean, first of all, read her letter, September 17, 2018. Dear Town of Lewiston Town Board, after much reflection, I have made the very difficult decision to resign as chairwoman from the Zoning Board of Appeals effective October 12, 2018. If the board wishes to retain me to train the new chairperson, I would make myself available to help in any way I can for a smooth transition. I have also spearheaded joint training between the towns of Niagara and Porter for planning and zoning. I will get the dates and classes together prior to my departure. Thank you so much for the opportunity to serve the town of Lewiston. In friendship, Anita Muzzy. Just want to commend Anita for a fabulous job. I really don't think I've met any other, and I say this with all respect, volunteer, because of the amount of money that you get paid, with as much dedication, intelligence that you brought to the job, and just passion for it. I think you inspired everyone on that board, and sitting on the sidelines watching you during the meetings was wonderful, because you did take the town and our code very seriously. And you really wanted to give something back, and I just want to let you know that I'm sure that you did. I mean, you've touched more people than you know, so thank you for your efforts.
Thank you for all the sweets that you brought in too.
Yeah, I'm just upset that I didn't get more of them. So with regret, I make a motion to accept Ms. Muzzy's resignation.
Motion is second. All in favor?
Aye.
And that's all I have. Thank you.
So moved. Councilman Guinan? No. Councilman Jacoby, bicentennial.
Yes, it came to our attention that we didn't officially appoint the liaison, so I'd like to make a motion to have myself, Jacoby, and Al Bax made liaisons to the Village Town Bicentennial Planning Committee.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
There's a couple of us that are going to be ex officio members of the committee if and when they get the letterhead together and everything else, and I will be one of those. Donna is on the committee. We're very well representative, and it's going to be hopefully a very successful multi-year event.
I should also make mention, although there's two of us as liaisons, we're actually splitting, we only have one vote. And we did that in order that we would never miss a meeting.
And I don't get a vote.
Okay.
Well, that's how it works.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
I heard that.
Councilman Morial.
I got three things on item. We'll start with Lime Energy through National Grid. We did all the lights in the buildings, and we left one room out of the senior center. It was a storage room. There were 16 fixtures in there. They're still the ones when the building was built. And I went over there today and looked at them, and I made Lime Energy go back again and recount them to make sure we're all on the same page. And they'll do the whole project. They'll discount it 70%. The job cost is $2,115.68. They're paying $1,480.98. Our cost, if we pay it up front, would be $571.23 for 16 fixtures. I think if we had to buy 3 of them fixtures, it probably, and labor would probably cost us that. And that would complete all the 4 buildings that we did. I'd like to make a motion to accept.
I'll second it. Brief discussion.
We have a motion and a second. Go ahead.
Out of whose account is this $571.23?
What do we pay that on?
It'll come out of H98 that I know of.
I didn't want Jeanette call up tomorrow and say, I don't want to give up $500. All right.
Okay.
So we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
So moved.
The second, the 2 car leases are up for the assessors and inspectors. The 2 Hondas. I got 5 bids from different dealers on different makes of cars. And Honda came back in at the last minute with a Honda Clarity. It's a hybrid plug-in vehicle. The car averages about 110 miles to a gallon of gas with a full charge. They came in at $224 per month for 36 months, with 12,000 miles a year. And if we didn't get another Honda, we were liable for a $350 disposition fee on each car if we went to another make. So Honda was $9 more than the cheapest, but without paying that $350 deposition fee. And I think with the mileage that we're going to be getting, the gas savings is going to be incredible. And that also brings us to greener, where the town will be, once we do the street lights and this, and the lights in the building and the plug-in, will be up for a lot of grants in the future. So I'd like to make a motion to accept the bid from Western Honda.
It's a nice looking car.
Yeah.
It's a hybrid. It's
We have a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
I want to pause real quick. I want to give Rob Morial a lot of credit, because I know he worked hard on this. He called me several times. He went over it, he went over it, he went over it, and he worked real hard on this, and this has become your pet project, the energy. So I commend you on a job well
Can we
done.
put his name on the plaque out there about the charger?
Yeah.
Rob, what's gonna come first, the car or the charger?
The car is going to come next week. They're going to waive the final payments on the existing Hondas.
When does the charger get?
I'm hoping in about a month and a half. to get that done. It'll run on gas.
Right.
It'll get 45 miles to a gallon just on gas alone.
The plaque's going to say, in case of emergency, call Rob
Yeah.
Morial. So,
Do it. Okay, and I was approached by the assessors and the building inspector's office. I'm going to read a proposal that they gave to me, that the town board pass a resolution which requires that all building permits for structures that require architectural drawings be submitted along with an electric copy on a disc. This will make it quicker, more effective, and efficient, and less storage for the town. They come in with these big drawings, and they would just like it on a disc, and I'd like to make a motion.
Ryan, is that all it takes is a resolution for that, to require that, or is that going to be in the code?
So that's a tough question that I don't necessarily have the answer to right away, because I really want to see what the code actually says on it. The code probably says you are required to submit architectural drawings, and it doesn't probably indicate in what form it has to be. So I think if the town wants to require that, it could by resolution. I'm just not aware of what the code says in terms of, because it could say written. I mean, it could say, something along those lines.
So should we pass the resolution, and then if there's a problem with the resolution, we can correct it later?
This one's not time sensitive, right? I would push this off 2 weeks.
Okay,
Give
we'll
you a
take,
chance to look into it a little bit.
We'll take, hold on, Bill Conrad?
There's the architect side. There's the only thing that you should be concerned about there is that you're talking about intellectual property. You have to be sure to have it submitted in a format that is not alterable, say like a PDF or something like that.
Yeah. I would concur.
So we'll work on this? Okay. We'll table it.
Okay.
Ryan, you're going to talk to Linda on that? and
I'll talk,
discussions?
it was Linda and Tim, correct?
Yes.
I'll
Okay.
speak with
Is
them.
that it?
That's it on my agenda.
Okay. Resident statements. Who would like to speak? I don't have anybody signed up, so anybody would like to speak, please come on up and state your name.
I have a two-part question, and then another question. Has the preliminary budget been presented yet to the public?
No.
When will the preliminary budget be presented to the public?
We set
Our law
those
is very
dates.
specific about this presentation.
We already set those dates, correct?
We don't know, I don't know.
Oh, it's by law.
Pardon?
It's set by law that the budget is due to the town clerk on September 30th, and we have 5 days to present it to the board. We discussed last period that tentative schedule, which was you scheduled a special meeting, I believe, on October 4th. Is that correct?
It's not on
To
the
present
list.
the board.
It's not on the list. So it's October the 4th, it's going to be presented? Time?
4 o'clock.
4 o'clock. Here's my last question, and if I could, I'm going to direct it to Mr. Parisi. Is it a requirement by law to post a resolution prior to voting on it?
No, but in fact, oftentimes we make oral resolutions at the time of you're making the resolution.
So it's your opinion it does not have to be posted prior to approval? Thank you.
Thank you, Paulette. Would anybody else like to speak?
If it, I mean, I guess if it exists and it's on the agenda, you could post it, but we make oral motions all the time.
Amy,
Yes.
it's on. Amy, River Road. June 4th, I sent an email to Mr. Lannon, a copy of the report, and copied all the town board members that identified, I think, if it's so, maybe roughly 350 tons of contaminated soils that were buried on the property, which the town would like to make into a town park, and asked Mr. Lannon for what information he had available that we provided DEC previously, because I guess they kind of issued a clearance letter. Last week at Greenway, you mentioned that there was no hazardous waste on the property, so I wanted to find out where that 350 tons went, or if a sampling and analysis plan was done, and have we delineated where that material is?
Yeah, sure. There have been samples taken on the property. There's been 2 rounds of samples taken on the property. And the results of that, we are planning on summarizing in detail in the secret resolution, which we're not ready to do yet. We're still coordinating with SHPO on the secret piece, but the environmental analytics will be all discussed at that time.
Okay, and who's SHPO?
State Historic Preservation Office.
Oh, okay.
Separate, not in terms of the environmental, just from the archaeological piece of it.
Okay. Have you discussed the report I sent with anyone at DEC?
No.
Okay. Greg Sutton, who recently retired and is working in ecology and environment now, actually worked on the excavation of a lagoon on that property, which that contaminated silt was deposited into. And I've encouraged you to contact him to find out whether or not you sampled anywhere near where that material is. Since this is going to be a public park, it may be that once this area, this lagoon where this contaminated soil was buried, according to the report and the correspondence that I provided the board and Mr. Lannon, that it may be in such a state where there's very little that needs to be done, or it may need to be removed. But keep in mind that this material was discovered in 1978 or 79, and that the Superfund laws with teeth and all of the attended procedures was not passed until 1984. And I think Mr. Sutton was actually working on the construction on this particular parcel, and we're talking about the land adjacent to the Stella Niagara Preserve and across from the senior center, for anyone not up to date on it. But in any case, it's my understanding from Mr. Sutton that this lagoon was simply covered, it wasn't capped. And of course, in today's modern post-Superfund era, when we talk about capped site, we're talking about something different than just throwing 6 or 12 inches of dirt on it. So I would suggest that in any request to Greenway, that we be above board and disclose that we have documentation showing this, and would encourage you to review your sampling and analysis plan with DEC and talk with Mr. Sutton to make sure we're looking in the right place, and simply delineate that area and find out from DEC and the health department if they're satisfied with having kids and families recreate on that property and if not, what they think needs to be done, and ensure that whatever needs to be done is going to be eligible for Greenway funding. At the Greenway meeting, it was the first one I've ever attended, I was just kind of surprised that I never got a response to my request of Mr. Lannon from my June email, and then heard that this project was going to the Greenway meeting. My understanding initially a few months ago was that this was going to be a kayak launch, and Mr. Broderick mentioned at the Greenway meeting that the two state parks that we have in town, Art Park and Joe Davis, do not have a boat launch, but he further indicated that other agency approvals will be necessary for a boat launch or a kayak launch. But if we don't get those approvals, that will go forward with a town park anyway. In addition, there was an architect at this Greenway meeting appearing on behalf of state parks who just very informally volunteered looking at the map that Lewiston presented at this Greenway meeting and observed that it looked overbuilt. There was an awful lot of buildings and asphalt, et cetera, on a relatively small piece of paper and or small on a small area. And Mr. Broderick, my recollection is that you mentioned that this was conceptual and that some of the locations, the buildings may change. Hopefully, we'll have more information about this project before we get too far down the road. But I would certainly, obviously, not want to see us do sampling in locations or at decks and spend a lot of money in an area where Mr. Sutton may say, no, it wasn't over there, and make sure we find this, because this is a unique situation where we know the material is there, so let's find it and delineate it before we develop this property. And again, hopefully it's a low level of contamination, and DEC and the health department just say cover it up and we're fine. But if we have it removed, it's not like 350 tons. In this town or the next town over is a large excavation. It's very, very small. The very simple question, harmless question that I had in the earlier matter was whether or not the view shed for the solar project is confined to the street level, or whether or not, Mr. Lanning, you defined the view shed you evaluated from 104 or the escarpment.
I didn't do anything with the view shed, no, just was there was the glare study?
There was a
There was a glare study.
performed and submitted by the company.
Okay, so in the application, they said that the visibility was limited to the street level and not from 104 or the escarpment, and that's what our seeker form was based on?
I have to review the secret form for a specific response to that, but I can't tell you about the view shed.
So we don't know whether or not the project would be visible from the escarpment or from 104?
I do not know, as I sit here, no.
Okay. I encourage the board to find out, and because if it's, if you'll be able to see it from the escarpment, then those trees, Mr. Guyvan, are going to have to grow, X amount of height. I did simply just ask some of the residents in back whether or not the modern landfill would impair, would block the view anyway from the escarpment, and their sense was that modern was much further
West.
yeah, and therefore that could be a rather significant issue, just so that you're not surprised.
Mr. Withdraw, I gotta cut you off.
Yeah,
You-
it's just my
yeah.
last sentence.
Okay, well, yeah.
Just so, particularly because I've never commented on this project before, just so that you're not surprised, once it's constructed, that people either drive down Lewiston Hill or down 104 and it sticks out like a sore thumb when there could have been some additional mitigation or whatever up front.
Thank you. Would anybody else like to speak? Anybody else? Okay. Next town board meetings are the Environmental Commission on October 9th, 2018 at 7 p.m. Historic Preservation, October 9th, 2018 at 6 p.m. Town Board Work Session, October 11th, 2018, 6 p.m. It is a Thursday due to the holiday, so October 11th is a Thursday. Planning Board on October 11th at 6:30 p.m. Zoning Board of Appeals, October 18th at 7 p.m. And the Town Board meeting on October 22nd, 2018, 6 p.m. And also the budget meeting on October 4th at 4 p.m. Okay. So I'll move for adjournment.
Steve, will you have that meeting here or in your office?
We'll have the meeting here, right? Yeah, it'll be in the room here, so, motion for adjournment?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. So moved. Thank you, everybody, for coming.